As a business leader, owner, manager of a team, director of a team, vice president, whatever position you hold, getting the job done, getting production done, your function working well, obviously is your main focus. You've got to make sure that your people are doing the job they're employed to do. And there's many ways of doing that. There's many things that contribute to that. But one of the ones that doesn't usually come up directly, but when we start talking about it, then it does come out, is about people underperforming. So this short video is all about that, because it's one of those tricky subjects that comes up about how do you get people to do more. And this is strange, because a lot of people say, well, a lot of my teams and a lot of my people are working really hard. They're doing lots and lots of hours and they're trying their best. But somehow, production deadlines or project deadlines slip. So it's one of those really important things that you need to think about in terms of, well, what's going on here? Why does that happen? So one of the things we look at, first of all, in this, and we have a special masterclass this about productivity and accountability, is that there's usually a small amount of people that carry the workload for others. So people can be really busy, but it's still a small amount of people that get most of the work done. And perhaps you've noticed this, perhaps you know that you've got some stars that always seem to be the ones that are making things happen. And they're important, but then you've got to ask the question is, well, what am I paying the other people to do? And it doesn't mean that they are maliciously being lazy or they are shirking responsibilities. Sometimes that does happen though. But what happens is there are a small amount of people that seem to get everything done. And there's even a theory about it called Price's Law, which basically states that 50% of the workload is done by the square root of the number of people in the organisation. So if there's 16 people in the organisation, 4 people are doing half the work. Now, if you think about that, if you have a bigger company, those numbers get more and more scary. 200 employees, it's 14 people. 400 employees, it's 20 people doing half the work. So you start to make you think, hang on a second, who is doing the work? What am I paying these people for? And most importantly, how can I increase productivity? But actually, then we need to put in the word accountability. How do we increase accountability so I know people are going to get the work done? So this is a very common scenario, and it's one of the ways of approaching improving the results of a business. So this is why we created the masterclass on it. So this is what somebody actually said when we were talking about a post about Price's Law before. In the heart of lockdown, I was speaking to a medium-sized manufacturing business that had furloughed a huge chunk of its workers, and they were expecting productivity and sales to suffer. But they did the opposite. So it raised some questions for me. Was it the result of increased efficiency and better communication? Was it a few having to work harder for fear of losing their jobs and trying to prove their worth? So this person came across this and was scratching their head because things seem to get better with fewer people. And that's when they realised there's a lot of people they were carrying. So, as I said, it's not always malicious. Some people don't really pull their weight. Some people are trying to, but that you're not getting the best out of them. And some people are the people you can trust to always produce. So when you can beat Price's Law, you know that you're going to do better. That's the purpose of this accountability and productivity masterclass. So one thing I want you to really think about is this. How many people in your team willingly ask for more accountability? Because that is, and responsibility, because that is the big test. How many people come up and say, I think I can do more. I want to do more. Because if you have a culture where that is happening, you probably don't have this problem. Some people will do this. Some people are driven by their career. Some people are very, very proactive on doing this. But the question is, how many of these people do you have? So one of the things in the workshop is how to create a culture where willing accountability, taking on a more responsibility, is actually something that happens a lot. But also it's balanced by how you get the best out of your people. So it is possible for them to work at a higher level. So we're not talking about working more hours. We're not talking about working, at weekends to get things done. In fact, that is dangerous because eventually someone burns out. But I just want you to think about this. Do you want people who are busy, or do you want people who are effective? And if you think, do you know what, I really like to find out how to make my team more effective and focus on the things I need them to focus on, then that's what this productivity and accountability masterclass is all about. Because it is certainly possible, because you've got so many people who on the surface look busy, but things tend to slip. This is one of the key areas, encouraging willing accountability. And people look at me sometimes a bit strange. What do you mean? To get people to come to you and say, can I do more? Well, some people will do that already. But what about the rest of the people? What about the people who come in, do their work and go again? What would make them be more like this? And the other side effect of this is retention rates. Retention rates really improve because people who are enjoying themselves and are in a system which you can build to improve productivity and accountability, but in a healthy way, tend to stick around. So you tend to lose less of your really good people. So I just want you to think about Price's Law. I hope this has been useful to you, but think about Price's Law and just ask yourself the question, how many people are willing to take on more responsibility? And the next thing I want you to think about is, do they have the bandwidth to do that? Is there space in their day to do that? Because if they do want to do this, but they feel so under pressure, something's not right. You can't improve very easily because they feel that they're just working all the hours and they have no other time to do anything. If you've got that dilemma, this is what this productivity and accountability masterclass is for. And it's also for when you perhaps realise that perhaps you've got too many people who won't ask for more responsibility and accountability willingly, and who enjoy it because they enjoy the challenge of progressing and learning and enjoying their jobs to want to do more to help the company be successful. So if you're puzzled by this, if you're curious about this, if you're intrigued by this, just pop us over an inquiry. Inquiries at certainchange.co.uk, or just go onto the website, certainchange.co.uk. There's an inquiry form. It'll send us an email and let's have a chat, because it's a very, very useful hour and a half of yours, or perhaps your team's time, you and your team's time, because you can see what can be done very, very quickly if you're pointing your strategy at the right thing. Anyway, I hope this has been useful to you. Yeah, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.